Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are. My name is Sri Kumar Pai. I am the GYGC Global Chairman. GYGC means Global Youth Gavel Clubs. It's an international organization of Gavel Club counselors. We have 210 clubs with us from various countries, ranging from USA to Australia. And all these clubs are divided into various groups. We have 11 groups, and each group is looked after by a chairman and a vice chairman. They host various contests like table topics, impromptu speeches, evaluation, storytelling, many contests they conduct. And our main important contest we organize all over the world is the Global Youth Championship of Public Speaking. Okay, so if you are a good speaker, you get a chance to become the global champion. Recently, we have decided to arrange an education session like this so that you will be familiar with the different topics. Because many cavaliers and counselors were asking us that they want to learn something new. So today we are going to have a very new subject, very new topic, very relevant to all of you. Okay, and you can also inform us which topic you want to discuss so that we will try to invite the best, the experts in that particular field. So today we are with an expert and he is going to talk a very relevant topic. And to introduce him, let me welcome Global Group D Vice Chairperson and Ebonian Toastmaster, Shilpa N. Shilpa, over to you.
Thank you, DTM Sri Kumar Pai, sir. Respected DTM Sri Kumar Pai, sir, distinguished Toastmasters, Cavaliers, counselors, and cool, captivating audience. It's my pleasure to welcome you all to the special occasion. Today, we have the distinct. Am I audible?
Yes, please continue. I will.
Today, we have the distinct.
May I request everyone to switch off your mic, please? Everyone, please switch off your mic. Everyone, please continue. No, we can't hear you, Shilpa. Shilpa, you're muted.
It is my great pleasure to welcome you all to the special session. Today, we have the distinct honor of hosting a truly exceptional speaker, distinguished Toastmaster Surya Narayanan K. DTM Surya Narayanan joined Toastmasters in 2012 and quickly distinguished himself in the fraternity. He achieved his first distinguished Toastmaster, that is the name, DTM title, in 2017 in the traditional program and earned his second DTM in Pathways in 2022. Over the years, he has delivered more than 80 speeches, presented numerous educational modules at various levels, and conducted online sessions for audiences outside Qatar. As the first recipient of the District Toastmasters of the Year Award in District 116, DTM Surya Narayanan has also excelled as a contestant at the district level in table topics and as a prize winner at the division level in evaluation. His dedication to mentoring and coaching has guided many speech contestants, including numerous championships. A past president of Indian Club Toastmasters and Doha, Advanced Toastmasters in Qatar, and the official counselor of Indian Gavel Clubs since in the inceptions in 2016. DTM Surya Narayanan has mentored over a dozen Toastmasters and Cavaliers. Today, he will be sharing his insight on the craft of draft, covering the basics of public speaking, topic selection, speech structure, and writing essential. Please join me in welcoming DTM Surya Narayanan K with a big round of applause. Over to you, Surya Narayanan sir.
Thank you. your sponsor Shilpa, and thank you DTM 315 for giving me this honor of talking to these youngsters. I'm very happy to see that we have touched the mark of 100 on a Friday afternoon, at least in most part of the world, or in the Middle East and India, it's evening and afternoon. And still, so many of you have joined. I hope to make this an interesting session, and hopefully you will learn something new from this. Now, before I start, I request all of you to keep your mic in silent mode, mute mode. And if you have a question, if you can wait until the end of the session, it'll be good, because your question might get answered through the progress of the session. But if it's something is still not answered, you will have a Q&A session at the end of the presentation. So you can ask your question. We'll probably unmute you and give you a chance to speak, or you can post your questions in the chat box. I request DTM Rasul Salam, to my good friend, to help me in reading out the questions during the Q&A session from the chat box one by one. So when you post your question, please mention your name and Gavel Club and your question. Just a short question. Don't make it long. Don't make any comments. It is just a quick direct question which we can answer. So let's straight away get into the presentation. Please allow me to share the screen. Can you all see the screen? Anybody?
Yes, sir.
Can you see this?
Yes, yes.
Sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you
It's very much visible.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. The first question is, why do we need to speak in public? Why is public speaking required? Can anybody unmute yourself and give me an answer? Why you would like to? Yeah.
So-
Yes.
So we can
So,
tell our problems or communicate with others.
Okay. Okay. You can communicate your problems. Okay. Anybody else?
To
Yes.
reduce our
Aman.
stage fright.
So we can express our ideas.
Okay.
So we can
Well, to build confidence.
Okay.
so we can spread
Share our knowledge.
To
with
express
confidence.
our feelings and tell the basics of the problem that we need to convey them.
Okay,
So we
very
can
good.
spread awareness of the problems in order to convey the people how to stop them or how to prevent them.
Excellent.
So
Excellent.
express
So-
our
What
feelings
they're
to
doing.
reduce stage fright.
so
and helps us
We
to
can reduce our stage fright
Sir,
with
sir,
public speaking.
sir.
Okay.
Also, we can ask that what are they doing with.
Okay.
To
Very
express
good.
our feelings.
Very good. Yeah, you covered a lot of good points why we need to speak in public. Let us look at the first point that I have in mind.
Sir, we can like tell everybody what we want to, like what is our opinion.
Okay, the first one is a natural human urge to express ourselves. It is said that human beings are social animals. So when you're a social person, you have to express yourself. So there is a common feeling. There is a very basic urge.
in public.
Sometimes you may speak just for the love for the language. These days, giving a public speaking, giving a public speech, or making a presentation has become an educational requirement in almost all curriculums across the world. It is not simply memorizing something, going and vomiting in the examination and getting marks. These days, as a part of your assessment, the schools ask you to make different presentations, either as an individual or in groups and so on. So there is an educational requirement to make a presentation. Now, when you start working, there will also be a professional requirement to speak. You could be a manager, you could be a salesman, you could be a team leader, you could be the CEO of a company. You have to speak to other people. There's also a societal requirement. You have to speak in the society. Somebody talked about creating awareness among people. You could be doing a charity work, and as a part of that work, you have to speak to people, in the public. There could be other reasons for us to speak. For example, if there is a marriage and there is a toast being raised, or let us say somebody has won an award and there is a big function and you have to speak in praise of the person, or sometimes, unfortunately, somebody has passed away and there is a condolence meeting and you have to speak about the person. So there could be various reasons for which we have to speak in public. Now, when you look at public speaking in this structure, at the bottom of this model or the structure are three elements: speech purpose, topic selection, audience analysis. Very important, all three. Once you understand these three parts, what is your topic that you're going to speak on? While speaking on the topic, what do you want to achieve? What is the purpose of speaking? And then, who are you going to speak to? Or whom are you going to speak to? Do you know the nature of the people? Do you know the background of the people, their belief systems, their age group, their demographics? Because these are very important in understanding how you have to say certain things to certain people. What you speak to teenagers may not be relevant when you speak to adults. What you speak to women may not be sometimes relevant what you speak to men. So, yes, Vakas, you want to say something?
Allô?
Vakas, you want to say something? You raise your hand.
Non, et mon récit rentré là. Et te les qui m'ont mettre les choses? M'ont mettre les
Please, can you please
Non,
keep
et
your...
te les... Non,
Mr.
et
Dennis,
mettre-
can you please mute yourself? All others except me should keep your microphone muted. Yeah. Yes, Vakas, you want to say something?
Yes, that when do we decide to speak?
Mean?
What is the right platform? How to decide when we speak in public?
Whenever you get an opportunity to speak, you should just speak. When your school announces a competition, when your school announces a function, you have an opportunity to speak, you should speak. In your family gathering, if somebody has to speak, for example, let's say there's a musical event and somebody has to introduce the songs or the singer, there should be an anchor. If you get an opportunity, you should take it and you should become the anchor for the event and you should speak. So you should take each and every opportunity. Whenever you get a chance to speak in public, you should just grab it with both hands.
Thank you
Wherever
so
it
much
is.
for that.
Yeah. Now,
Sir,
yes,
speech
Darul.
purposes.
Yeah.
Speech purposes.
I will cover that in a minute. This is just an outline. We'll go into each of these items when you go further. Please be patient with me. Yeah. So when we understand the speech purpose, topic selection, audience analysis, then we go to the next level to prepare for the speech. What do we need to do as a part of preparation? Maybe we have to do research. Sometimes we may know a lot of things about the subject, but most of the times what we know already may not be enough or adequate to deliver a speech or to prepare a script. So we may have to do some additional research to gather some supporting information, and you have to organize your speech and you support your speech or your message with certain arguments. It could be in terms of quotations or some data and so on. So the second layer is the speech preparation layer. The third layer is once your script is ready, you will prepare. You will start practicing for your speech. At that level, you will think of the verbal or the non-verbal delivery, your vocal variety, your body gestures, and so on. All those things become important. All these put together constitute the framework of public speaking. But in today's session, we'll only be talking about the bottom two layers, the public speaking foundation and speech preparation, because vocal variety and body language are vast subjects which need to be taken up separately. I'm sure DTM Srikumar will arrange a separate session on these items. We'll only talk about the bottom two layers today. Now, you asked about what is the purpose of public speaking. If you have started your public speaking journey in your Toastmasters Gavel Club, you would have received the CC manual, the Competent Communicator Manual. If you open the Competent Communicator Manual and go to Project 3, Competent Communicator Project 3. What is Project 3 in CC Manual? Can somebody tell the name of the project?
So is it get to the point?
Get to the point. That's fantastic. That's a good answer. So get to the point is the third project. In that get to the point project, this item is very, very clearly mentioned. What is the purpose of speaking? The broad general purpose of public speaking is one among these: to inform, to give information to other people, to educate other people, to share knowledge. So a speech which is predominantly targeted to inform other people, to give information to other people,
Sir,
is an informative speech. Yes, Arun.
that's basically mean efficient speaking.
Pardon?
Sir, it was written in the last efficient purpose speaking. Efficient speaking. It's written in the last.
I'm not able to understand your question, Arun. Okay.
Sir,
The
it was written
where?
in the
Where was
last.
it?
Sir, it
Huh?
was written in the last efficient speaking. It was written in the last one PowerPoint.
I do not know. The second purpose of your speech could be to entertain. Your purpose of the speech could be to entertain people, to make them laugh. Isa, can you please mute yourself? Yeah.
Sir, we
So,
can.
yes, please.
Can everyone mute? You will be getting time to ask questions at the end. Otherwise,
Yeah,
you will be disturbed. Everyone,
correct.
please
Yeah.
keep quiet and listen. Note down whatever question you have, and you will have question and session. That time you can ask. Please
Yes.
don't disturb. Everyone, please keep quiet. Let him continue and note down the question. If you have anything, you can ask at the end, please.
Yeah. Most of your questions, I'm sure, will get answered during the presentation. So be patient and just hear me out. You will get a chance to ask your questions if you still have any doubt. So the second purpose of public speaking could be to entertain, which means to make people laugh, to keep them entertained. There need not be a message in an entertaining speech. For example, it could be a tall tale. You could be telling an imaginary story, or you could just simply tell a story that you've recently read. There need not be a moral behind the story, but it is just a story. It could be a fictional story about Harry Potter, or it could be anything else. Many of you may be reading other books. For example, let us say Enid Blyton. Anybody reads Enid Blyton?
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. It could be Spider-Man.
So,
And-
Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
Yeah, Diary of a Wimpy Kid. This is very popular.
Sir, Percy Jackson.
Yeah, Percy Jackson. It could be any of those things. Yeah.
So,
Atomic
any fiction character.
So, okay. The third. Okay, the third reason or general purpose could be to persuade. So when you talk about persuade people, can everybody please mute yourself? I'm getting some background noise which is disturbing. Yeah, thank you. So to persuade means to make somebody agree to your viewpoint, or to make somebody to do something that you want them to do. For example, I'm a vegetarian. I believe vegetarianism is good. So I could give a speech to encourage other people to become vegetarians. Some of you could be animal lovers. So you could think of delivering a speech about why we should love animals, why we should not do cruelty to animals, and persuade other people to think like you, to act like you. Because that's a good thing for the society. So persuasion means changing somebody's viewpoint or getting somebody to do that you want them to do. The fourth one is to inspire other people. When you say persuasion, a lot of times it's a very specific call for action. Inspiration means something very big, even larger purpose than mere persuasion. If I ask you to donate blood one time, I'm going to organize a blood donation camp, and I ask you to donate blood. I'm trying to persuade you to be a blood donor one time. That is persuasion. But if I inspire you to become a regular blood donor or even an ambassador for blood donation, so that you start talking to other people why they should also donate blood, then I have inspired you. Inspiration is calling for a longer term change in belief, change in doing action, a more concrete mind frame has to be changed. That's called inspiration. Persuasion is a very specific call for action. Then, as I said, there could be special occasion, which could be marriage, it could be somebody's birthday party, somebody's graduation party, it could be any other event to felicitate somebody for getting an award, or it could be a condolence speech. It could be various different special occasions where the purpose is to speak something relevant to that occasion. So we need to first understand through our speech, what are we trying to achieve? Because you could choose a topic. On that topic, you could choose to speak in any of these ways. Your general purpose could be any of these. For example, a very common problem among us, many of us, is obesity. What is obesity? What is obesity?
Actually, I locked the. Otherwise, no, they are disturbing. So
Okay,
I locked.
sir. Okay, sir. Yeah. Obesity is being overweight, being fat. So you could deliver a speech why people become obese and what are the problems if people are obese. So you are giving information to people about obesity. On the same obesity, you could deliver a humorous speech. How you became so fat and what all things you tried to do to get rid of obesity and how that happened. If, for example, somebody could be joining a gym, somebody could be doing some exercise, and in that process, there could be a lot of humor, various things. So you could entertain people speaking about your own experience with obesity. The third is to ask people to stop eating something, let us say, stop eating sugar. Stop consuming sugar because that leads to obesity. Stop eating fatty foods. Stop eating junk food. You persuade people. So that could be a way of speaking. The topic is still obesity, but what you are trying to convey is different in an informative speech, in an entertaining speech, and a persuasive speech. Similarly, you could inspire people to become fitness freaks, fitness enthusiasts, and then lose weight, shed weight, and then they also start speaking about obesity to other people. So that's inspiration. So the topic is still obesity. The speech could be informative, entertaining, persuasive, or inspirational. So that's where the general purpose comes. Still obesity is a specific purpose. This is a specific topic. Now, one of the challenges most of us have when we want to speak in public is choosing a topic. I want to deliver a speech, but I don't know what to talk about. I just came up with a very simple model called Speaky Guy. Speaky Guy is a name that I came up with. If you look for this word in English dictionary, you will not find it because it doesn't exist. I created it from another word called Ikigai, Ikigai, Ikigai. Ikigai is a Japanese word which means finding your purpose in life, which is a very beautiful philosophy. Based on that, I made this model called Speaking Guide. How can we choose a topic to speak on? One is your domain, in the sense there is something that you know a lot about. Some of you could be doing origami. Some of you could be doing magic. Some of you could be doing karate or playing cricket or music, all those things. So that's your domain because you have some knowledge, you have some skill in that field. The other aspect is your passion. This is something that you love doing. You may be going and playing cricket, but that may not be something that you love, but you do it as a matter of fitness activity. But there will be certain things that you'll be very passionate about. This is about you, your expertise, your special field of knowledge. The other is your own liking, your passion. These both are about you. But public speaking is not only about yourself, it is about talking to an audience. We also need to understand the other side. In fact, that is more important. If you're speaking to certain people, for example, I'm speaking to 100 of you, what would you like to listen? What would you like to hear from me? So there is an audience liking. The other side is the audience value. What is the difference between audience liking and audience value? For example, I could simply go on telling you jokes today. You will all be entertained. But at the end of the session, would you have learned something? Probably not. But my purpose is to make your time in this meeting valuable, to add some value, to let you learn something. So, in addition to speaking about what people like to hear, I need to
Sorry,
also
interruption,
consider.
Surya. Just
Yeah,
can you adjust your camera a little bit because we can't see your
yeah,
face properly.
yeah. Is
Little
it
more.
okay now?
No.
Is it okay
Yeah,
now?
fine. Yeah,
Yeah,
please. Sorry,
yeah,
continue.
yeah, yeah. So, in addition to talking about things that people like to hear, it is my duty to give some value. At the end of the speech, the people should feel, wow, I learned something new. Wow, I should go out and do this. I can also do this. If Surya could do this, I can also do this. Wow, I also have the same problem. Surya Narayanan succeeded in this fashion. Let me go and try this. Surya Narayanan had a lot of failures, but he never gave up. And that's how he found success. I will also go and do it. I'll also keep trying. So there is an audience value. So if there are topics which are common to all this, there is something that you know a lot about and you are passionate about it. And that will also be something that people would love to hear about. And at the end of it, you will also be able to give some value to those people. Then those are the topics that you can speak about. If you're not able to choose something which will intersect all these four circles, choose something which will cover at least three of them. If you can't find something which will cover three of them, choose something which will cover at least two of them. Especially one from your side, one from the audience side. At least two of them. Because both are important. You are the speaker, they are the audience. The topic that you speak on should be something relevant to you, it should be relevant to them. So, whenever you're choosing a topic, see if you can use this model to check whether what you're doing fits into all the four circles or at least three circles, if not at least two circles, one from your side, one from the audience side. Now coming to the broad speech structure, I'm sure most of you would know that any speech, however short it is or however long it is, has three basic elements. an introduction, a body, and a conclusion, or an opening, body, and conclusion. So the purpose of the opening is to grab the attention of the audience, because today there is so much of distraction. It is said that we cannot hold the audience attention for more than 5 to 6 minutes today. If they are children, it's even worse. Children get distracted even more. So it's very important to start your speech in such a way that people will decide to listen to you. How to grab the attention of people? What are the different ways in which you can have your opening? The common openings that many people use are to tell a joke, to use a quotation. Some people could even dance. Some people could even sing a song or do some magic. Bring a prop and do something with it. So there are many ways in which you can grab the attention of people. Say something outrageous, a statistic. For example, if you talk about poverty, you tell a statistic, so many millions of people are living in poverty. You should not say so many millions, you should give a number and you should quote from where you got that number.
DTM Srinaran, if you want to ask any question, that time I can make them unmute. I'm muted now.
Okay, sir. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So it's very important that you come up with a very powerful opening to your speech, so that you grab the attention of people and you make them wanting to listen to you. From that, you transition into the main part of your speech. At the end of your opening, it should become very clear as to what you are going to speak on. It should not remain a suspense. A lot of times, when we choose a speech title, the title may be a bit mysterious. People may not know what you're going to speak about. For example, when I delivered my icebreaker speech 12 years back, the speech title I had chosen was Crossing the English Channel. Crossing the English Channel. Can anybody, one of you, unmute yourself and tell me what would be the main focus of my speech? What would have been the main focus of the speech? Crossing the English Channel. Anybody wants to guess?
Would it be the part which says crossing English Channel?
Pardon?
Will it be the last two words, English Channel mainly, because it gives
English Channel. My speech title was Crossing the English Channel.
So
What is English?
So
what is English? What is English Channel?
Western.
So maybe it could be the language or the mode of communication that people use.
No. What is English Channel? Does anybody know what is English Channel?
Sir, English Channel could mean the language itself, and crossing the English Channel could mean that you are trying to overcome the language in a way that you could be better and better.
Very good. You guessed it right. But English Channel, if you are good in geography, world geography, you would know that English Channel is a small water body between England and France. It connects England and France. And for people who are into swimming, into open sea swimming, swimming from England to France or France to England on the English Channel is a big achievement. The water is very cold. Sometimes it could be very turbulent. It's difficult, very difficult to do. So if somebody looks at the title, Crossing the English Channel, they may be thinking that I'll be speaking about swimming. But believe me, I don't know anything about swimming. I'm not a swimmer. I don't know swimming. I talked about how, as a child, I studied in a vernacular medium, in Tamil medium, and how I started learning English when I was 10 years old in my grade 5, and how I found it very challenging. And over a period of time, how I became proficient in English, and how I started liking the language. So that was my icebreaker about my experience with English. But I gave it a mysterious title, Crossing the English Channel. So the title itself may not tell anything, but when you open your speech, towards the end of your opening, you should be very clearly explaining to people what you're going to speak about. Then you transition into your main body. In the body of the speech, there could be many different ways of arranging the body. We're going to look at the structure, but the speech structure. It could be 1 point, 2 point, 3 point, like that, or 0.1, and then under that there is a sub point, or there's 1 point. Then you give some example. Then 0.2, you give some example. There could be 0.3, you give the example. That way, the body of the speech flows. And finally, you wrap it up with a very powerful conclusion. The conclusion should meet your objective. To the conclusion, you should fulfill your objective of delivering a message, asking people to do something, change their mindset, become a different person, have a lofty goal for the life for themselves, join a movement that you are actually an ambassador of. It could be anything, but the conclusion should be so powerful that you achieve that purpose. So these are 3 broad elements of a good speech, which is essential regardless of what type of speech and regardless of duration of speech: opening, body, and conclusion. Now, speech structure. Your speech could be chronological. Chronological means based on time. For example, you're delivering an icebreaker speech. You could start from the day you were born, how your birth gave joy to people, or what kind of struggle your mother went through during the delivery process, the pain she went through. There might have been some complication during the delivery. There could be anything, or you could be you might have been born after 10 years. Each of us have very unique circumstances. You start from that point, and then your youth, as an infant, what happened in your life, then your school, and then further down, further, up to the point where you are today. You might have moved to different places. There could be different people you have met during this period. There could be some friends. So you could include all this, but in a chronological way. Chronological means according to time. As I said, it could be topical. Your speech could be having a main topic. Under that, there could be many subtopics. The third could be spatial. It's about space. For example, you are delivering a speech about your recent visit to Turkey. Incidentally, I'm going to Turkey tomorrow. So once I come back from Turkey, I could deliver a speech in my class talking about the trip. So I will start from the day I left from Qatar. Where I landed in Istanbul. I did this. The hotel was like this. First, I went to this place. Then I went to this place. From Istanbul, we went to Cappadocia. We went to Uludeni. So you talk about different places. And finally, you close it with your return to Qatar. So that's spatial. The sense you structure your speech according to place, spatial, space. Time and space are 2 big dimensions in the world. So you could, you could structure your speech around time. You could structure your speech around space. These are very, very general models that we keep using often. Your speech could be comparative. Comparative means comparing 2 things. It could be let us say, CBSE versus Kerala medium. CBSE versus ICSE, KBSE versus IB curriculum. Why? How different are they? Where they are similar, where they are different. It could be about an important incident that happened in your life. What were you before and what happened after the incident? How you changed. So there is a comparison of yourself before and after. It could be a speech about how different are you from your siblings. How different is your generation from your previous generation or the previous generation? How your grandpa and grandma think, how your parents think, and how you think. Are there any differences? So these are all speeches in which you make a comparison between 2 or 3 things. this is, in this what happens is, you take a problem in your life and talk about how you overcame the problem. But people are not simply interested in knowing about you, they are interested in knowing how it is relevant to them. So you start with something about yourself, something small. At some point in your speech, you make it a general problem. For example, you're speaking about your fear. You speak about your fear. The fear could be for anything as simple as an insect. There may be many of you who are afraid of cockroaches. I do not know. Some of you could be afraid of water. Some of you could be afraid of dark places. Some of you could be afraid of heights. There are many different phobias, we know. So you talk about your fear and how you've been able to overcome fear, or how you're learning to overcome that fear. And then you make it general, saying all of us have fears. Fear is just in our mind. If we are able to commit ourselves, understand that fear is just a psychological thing. If we face it, we can overcome it. You are generalizing. So from something very small, which is about you, you make that problem into a general problem, which is relevant to everybody. All of us can relate to it. And then you try to give them some solutions that they can apply in their life. So start something with something small about yourself and make it a general problem. There's one approach. The other approach is a microscopic approach. You start with a big problem. For example, poverty, environment, pollution. These are all very, very big subjects. You can give loads and loads of information about these topics, but that will all remain only information. Ultimately, the individual's question is, okay, I know all this. What am I supposed to do? What can I do? Is there something that I can contribute? So your speech should ultimately be about the individual. The problem you started with is very big, general, but you bring it back to an individual problem and say, this big problem is a global problem, but there is something that you and I can do. It could be about, let us say, food wastage. 33%, 40% of whatever the agriculture produce around the world is wasted in different ways. Is there anything that you and I can do about it? Yes. When you go to a restaurant, order only the amount you can eat. At home, don't buy things that you will not use. A lot of time we buy kilos and kilos of fruits. After 4 or 5 days, they rot and we just throw them away. So there is a lot of things that we as individuals can do to reduce food wastage. So the problem is a big problem, food wastage. You narrow it down to an individual's problem and tell people what they can do as individuals or in small groups, as a family, as a class. So that's the different kind of approach compared to telescopic approach. You understand the difference between telescopic and microscopic? Telescopic, you took your problem and then you generalized it. The second one, you take a big problem and then you narrow it down to an individual's problem. There are other very useful structures that we can look at, very simple but very useful structures that we'll look at 3 models today. We'll talk about the PPF model, the PCS model, the KFC model. What is a PPF model? The PPF model is past, present, and future. For example, you can deliver a speech about wristwatch. You can talk about how the wristwatch was invented and what it used to look like, what function it used to do, what are the different types of watches, the history of watch, which is very fascinating. Then presently, what the watch does. Today people are wearing smart watches. It is not just a watch. It can be used as a mobile. It can be used for, let us say, listening to songs. You can even probably watch something, you can do a video call, you can do all kinds of things. You can keep monitoring your fitness, the number of steps you walk. So many things can be done using your watch. Future, what holds? What future holds for the watch? Will there be something called a watch, or watch will become extinct? Is watch now an ornament rather than something which will tell us time? Because you can easily get the time from your mobile. Why do you really need a watch? So, like that, you can develop a speech on any topic looking at the past, present, and future. The education system, how has it changed over a period of time, the past, present, and future? The world, how has it changed? Past, present, and future. The country you live in. Let's say you are 15 years old and you've been living in Saudi Arabia or Bahrain or Qatar or Lucknow or wherever you are from, Kerala. When you are born, what your village used to look like, your city used to look like, what it looks, how it looks today, and what is the future of that city? Will your city become a smart city? Something will change. The roads have become wider. Earlier, there used to be small independent houses. Now there are flats. Earlier, there used to be a lot of greenery. Now only concrete jungle is there. How the thing has changed. So you could use a PPF model to structure a speech. Very useful, simple model, past, present, and future. Sometimes a flashback is a powerful tool. Why I say this? You are delivering a speech. The speech is triggered because all the time you will be thinking about what to speak on. What to speak on could be triggered by an event that happened today. But what happened today reminds you of something that happened in the past. Similar thing happened. That time you reacted to it differently. Today you reacted to it differently. Earlier you were scared of something. You would have run away. But today you are brave enough to face it. Similar situation, but your reactions were different. But today, based on your current incident, it reminds you of something in the past. So you go back in time. You talk about today and then say, suddenly, when this happened, suddenly I was reminded of what happened 8 years back. Or suddenly I was reminded of what my dad told me, what happened when he was my age. So you talk about what happened in the past and again come back to the present. So the past, present, future does not mean that it has to follow the same sequence. You could start with the present and probably go in flashback mode into the past and come back to the present and talk about the future. But these are just signposts to think about the different time points and accordingly structure a speech around these three elements. Another very useful model is a problem solution or problem cost solution. We talked about obesity. When you deliver a speech about obesity, you should talk about why it is a problem. What kind of implications it is having in our life. But people should also know why they become obese. What causes obesity. And then finally, you give them some solution. If you do 1, 2, 3, 4, probably you can reduce your obesity. Or you can stay away from becoming obese. For example, how to get good marks. Why people don't get good marks in mathematics. Or how to get good marks in mathematics could be a speech. You talk about why people don't get good marks in mathematics. Why many people hate mathematics. So there is a problem that many people don't like mathematics. And then you give a cause, why it is happening so. And finally, you give a solution, how everybody can become better with math. So there's a 3-step model, problem, cause, and solution. A very simple model. This is something that I recently came across, a KFC model, a very useful, very interesting model, which we can easily remember. Know, feel, change, or call for action. You think whenever you are delivering a speech on any topic, think about what you know on the topic or what knowledge you want to give to your audience through your speech on that particular topic. Because if people can get that information from internet, or it is some knowledge that they already know, it will be boring for them. So you should always think about what is that new knowledge I can give to this audience. The topic could be a familiar topic, but you are able to give them something new. Sometimes the topic itself could be new. So the knowing part is very important. Knowing is still at the knowledge level, but there is more important to talk about feeling. What is your feeling? What is your emotional connection with the topic? And you also want to convey certain feelings to other people. Should they feel serious? Should they feel happy? Should they feel concerned? Should they feel angry after listening to your speech? What do you want them to feel like? And what is your feeling? The third is, what kind of change that you want to bring about in the audience through your speech? What is the specific call for action that you want to get through your speech? Think about knowledge, feeling, and change. Even in debates and many other topics, persuasive topics, the three fundamental building blocks are ethos, pathos, logos. Ethos is about belief system, our values. Pathos is about the feeling. Logos are the data and information, symbols, and all the other things there, charts, or whatever you can use to support your argument. So all three are very powerful tools: ethos, pathos, logos. So whenever you're talking, writing a speech, think about three elements: ethos, pathos, logos, which also translates into knowledge, feeling, and change. Now coming to speech writing in general. Now we have understood there is a very general purpose to speaking, which could be to inform, entertain, persuade, inspire. There could be very specific purposes like speaking on obesity or mathematics as a subject, or about poverty, or about wastage of food. That could be, the topic could be anything. And then we looked at different models, constructing a speech around a chronological model, or a spatial model, using the PCS model, or using the PPF model, or KFC, one of the different models that we talked about. But let's also look at some general aspects of public speaking. As I said, speech purpose is the most important thing. So whenever you're writing a speech, understand the purpose, the objectives of your speech. In the CC manual, this is very clearly outlined, because the 10 projects in the CC manual are designed in a particular way that you develop one skill at a time. The topic itself is important, but what you are going to learn by delivering, by preparing a speech, and for practicing and delivering the speech, what you are going to learn. Those purposes are outlined in the CC manual. We be very clear. Also, be very clear about the audience awareness. Whatever topic you're choosing, is it of interest to the audience? Will it add any value to them? It's very important and vital that whatever you're speaking is something personal to you. Why is it important? You can deliver a speech about great leaders, let us say Abdul Kalam or Mahatma Gandhi and so on. The question is, so what? We already know about those people, Mahatma Gandhi and Abdul Kalam and other great leaders, Vivekananda. It could be anybody. Those things are already documented, available on the web, available in books. We have seen maybe films about them. Why should you speak about it? Why should I listen to you about speaking about Abdul Kalam? How were you able to relate to Abdul Kalam? What have you learned from him? Have you been able to implement that in your life? How has it helped you? Unless you bring that personal dimension to your speech, it will remain just preaching. You could deliver a speech about honesty is the best policy. You take somebody else's story. Somebody found, let us say, a gold chain on the street. He could have kept it for himself. He went and gave it to the police station. And then it was a gold chain which was lost by a person who was getting ready for his daughter's marriage. And he was so distraught. And he was upset that the chain was lost. And finally, when the person got back the chain, he was so happy. Those stories are right. So that honesty is the best policy, okay. But how is it related to you? Are you being honest? Have you followed the honesty in your life? Has it stood you in good stead? So take any topic, there should be a personal touch to it. Because that personal touch is the uniqueness that you bring to the audience. Because they don't know your story. Most of the things that you may say about Abdul Kalam or Vivekananda or artificial intelligence or poverty or environment are already known or already available. What they do not know is your connection. They do not know is your connection with the topic. Why are you talking about? Are you an expert in the field? Most of the time we are not experts. But still, somehow the topic is relevant to me. I got enamored by the topic. I got interested in the topic. So I went ahead and did some research. I want to share it with you. Or I found that to be very useful. I tried it in my life. It's working. I want you also to try. So the personal experience is very, very important in a speech. Research and information. If you simply talk about your own experience and then tell people that they should also do it, they may say, but your life is unique. Just because you did it doesn't mean that I can also do it. And that's where you bring more support to your speech, your message, by saying it is not just me who's saying this. Look at that famous person, he did it. Look at Roger Federer, he did that. Look at Virat Kohli, he did that. Look at Bill Gates, this is how he came up. So there are people whom we admire, adore in the world, and those people have done something which has given them success. So whatever we are trying to say, it is not something personal to me, but it is something that has been generally done by other people who have succeeded with it. Whenever you are quoting something, that should be very credible source. I am not saying this, World Health Organization is saying this. I am not saying this, World Bank is saying this. I am not saying this, United Nations is saying this. So that you say United Nations is saying, but you say in which year, in which research, where was it published? So you should be able to give very reliable source for your information, whatever data you quote. You cannot simply say, I read somewhere 20% of this, like this, like that. That I read somewhere is useless. Nobody will believe. Today, if you Google, mountain and mountain of information will come up. But you should be careful enough to know which is correct, which is incorrect, which is latest, which is not latest, which is relevant. If you are delivering a speech, if you are Indian, you're delivering a speech, let's say you're based in Qatar, you're speaking in front of your Cavaliers in Qatar. If you talk about something that is happening in America, some American statistics, it's neither relevant in India, is neither nor relevant to Qatar. So the research or the data that you quote should be relevant to the audience. Otherwise, they'll simply hear it and they'll forget it. That's not your purpose. Your purpose will be defeated. Speech outline, just now we saw so many different models. Once you've decided your general purpose and your specific purpose, choose a suitable model that will help you achieve that purpose. Then comes sense of proportion. Let us say you have your opening, body, conclusion, and within your body there are 3 parts. We are delivering most of the time 5 to 7 minute speeches. And our average speaking rate will be around 100 to 120 words, let us say. Most of us, some of us could be speaking a bit slower, some of us could be speaking a bit faster, but if it speak too fast, people will not understand. If we speak too slow, people will get bored. So we should be somewhere in the mid-range of 100 to 120 words. So if you have to deliver a 5 to 7 minute speech, stay within the time. That means you should not be less than 4 minutes 30 seconds, more than 7 minutes 30 seconds. If you have a content of about 700 words, 600 to 700, 750 words, most of the time you will finish on time. Once you identified that you have to write a speech of 750 words, how many words should be there in my opening? How many words should be there in my closing? There is no formula. But a broad thumb rule we can say is, let's say 10% at the opening, 10% for the closing, 80% of your speech should be in the main body. So if you have 700 words, 750 words, 10% is about 75 words. It could go up to 100 words. Similarly, a bottom closing, again 70 words, could go up to 100 words. It could be as little as 50 words. Then you come to the main body, which will be in the range of 500 to 600 words. Use that also, we divide into 3 parts. You shouldn't write a speech in such a way that out of the 3 parts in the main body, one part is just 2 lines, another part is having 400 words, another part is having 100 words. It should not be that. There should be a sense of proportion. If you are saying 3 things, give equal importance to all the 3. If one of them you are giving less importance, that means it's not even useful to talk about that one thing. Speak about only 2 things. So have a sense of proportion when you write your script. I'm sure most of you would have mentors assigned to you as Cavalier. It's very important to have your mentors' suggestions. In fact, I would go to the extent of saying, start talking to your mentor from the time you come up with a speech idea. And then how to structure the speech. Don't start writing before you have the structure in place and you got an initial consent from your mentor. Then you write, send the script to your mentor, get feedback, make changes accordingly, and finally your script. This is very important, overcoming writer's block. We deliver a speech in the particular sequence of opening, body, conclusion, but when we sit down to write our speech, it is not always necessary that you will start writing the opening and then you will come to the body and then you will come to the conclusion. Most of the time, the body of the speech is what we will write, because that's the subject we have chosen and we know what to convey. And then you think about what is the best way to open this speech. What is the best way to close the speech? So just because you are not able to come up with a good opening, don't delay the speech writing aspect. Whatever body of the speech you already come up or thought about, start writing that. And then you can always add other parts to it. There is no perfect speech and it will never be perfect in the first run. So just write whatever comes to your mind. Don't worry about it. You can always structure it later. You have to start somewhere. Audience engagement. When you're speaking, it's very important to you that you engage the audience, not simply by telling jokes. Yes, humor is a very good way of engaging. How can you engage the audience? Can you ask some questions to them? Can you ask them to do something? When you ask questions, there could be 2 types of questions. One is called a real question, which means you have to get a response from the audience. Like I asked you people some questions, some of you unmuted and answered. Sometimes we ask a question which is called a rhetoric question. I'm not expecting an immediate answer from you, but I want you to think about it. That's called a rhetoric question. Both have their own roles to play in a speech, because your speech should make other people think. So when you write your speech, are you going to get a response? Do you want a response from your audience? That means the way you modulate your speech, you should allow for people to respond. How many responses are you going to take? Are you going to take 1 response, 2 responses, 3 responses? So be very clear when you're writing the speech, how you want to engage with the audience. Language check, very important, because as a Cavalier, when you start writing, All of us may not be great in grammar, but we can always become good in grammar. We can start writing. We may not have the best vocabulary, but gradually we can improve. We have online tools like Grammarly and so many other online tools available for grammar check. When you write your speech first time, just write it and then start looking at your speech, reading at your speech as if it's written by somebody else. See whether you're overusing any word. If you're overusing any word, can you put a synonym instead of using the same word again and again? Start thinking about it when you're finalizing a script. Add a bit of humor, it always helps. Not necessary, but it's a good, powerful tool to engage the audience, to convey a message. Story, drama, dialogue, again, very, very useful tool. Tell a story as a part of your speech. Most of the time, a speech should not be just a story. The speech should be used, the story should be used to convey a message. It should be a part of your speech. But a lot of times, the storytelling itself could be a speech. When you have a story, when you have tried to introduce characters, give the characters some names, introduce some dialogue rather than narrating a story, make it as if they are speaking, those characters are speaking. That gives you a chance to introduce vocal variety and body language. Somebody could be short, someone could be tall, somebody could be, it could be a child speaking, it could be a mother speaking, it could be a principal speaking, it could be an old man speaking in a story. So that gives you enough flexibility for vocal variety. When you're writing the speech, conceive these things. How can I introduce a story? How can I introduce a bit of drama into my speech? Use quotations, but when you're using quotation, be sure that you are using the right person, the right quotation, and you're ascribing it to the right person. Because there are a lot of times where we think one quotation is said by somebody, but it's actually said by somebody else because the internet says it wrongly. So be very clear who said it. Also, when a quotation is powerful if you say it correctly. But if you cannot get it right word by word, you may mess it up and the purpose will be defeated. So use quotation wisely. Next is redrafting. No speech is perfect in the first go itself. A speech will undergo its own metamorphosis. So be ready to make changes as your speech evolves. Once your script ready, try to read it out, because a lot of time we'll use words which will look very good on paper, but when you try to pronounce those words, they don't come out naturally, they don't come out smoothly. We may have to replace that with some other words. Similarly, when you're writing a speech, visualize how you will deliver, where you will stand and deliver which part of your speech, how to use the stage. If there are two characters in the speech, which character will stand where? If you have to move transition, if you're going to keep a prop in a particular place, you should be visualized in such a way that when you need the prop, your speech physical transition should allow you to go near the prop at that particular point. Otherwise, you will be in one corner, your prop will be in another corner, and suddenly you realize, oh no, I need the prop, but it is there. You have to run, and the whole flow will be affected. So these small things need to be visualized when you are writing a script, how the physical movement will happen. But these things will happen over a period of time. You will learn one thing at a time. When you reach P6, P7, P4, P5, P6, P7, these things will automatically come one by one. But if you are in P2, P3, focus on the basic elements of public speaking. How to choose a topic, how to organize your speech, how to use the right word. Those are important, more important than your vocal variety and body language, because they are only adding extra things. They are only the masala, but that's not the main one. The content, core content of your speech is more important than the sizzlers. Finally, the 4P mantra of public speaking. You have to plan. You should know what topic, what you want to convey, and accordingly you will prepare a speech. You will practice well, and finally you go on present. If you don't plan, if you don't write your script, you don't practice it, and suddenly you expect to deliver a great speech, it will not happen. Most of the time, We say there are 4 speeches for each and every speech we discuss. Does that sound confusing? Why 4 speeches for one speech? The reason is the speech that you actually wanted to deliver. When you chose a topic, you want to deliver a great speech on that topic. Then there is a speech that you prepared, a script that you wrote and you practiced. But lot of times, what you wrote and what you prepared will not be the same as what you actually deliver on the stage. If you deliver 80% of what you practice, you are doing great. So you will forget something, you will miss something, and you will say something that you didn't prepare, something impromptu. It will come automatically. There's nothing wrong. And then what the audience, the speech as the audience received it. There is something that you wanted to convey, but the audience may have received it differently. If all the 4 match, you wanted to deliver a great speech, you drafted a great speech, you practiced that, you delivered the great speech, and the great speech was delivered exactly, received in the exact same fashion by the audience. Amazing. But most of the time, there will be differences among all these 4. So remember, planning, preparation, practice, all these things are essential in order to present a good speech. Presentation comes at the end, but the other elements are very, very important. The outcome will be good only if the input is good, if your preparation is good. That's why our founder, Ralphie Smedley, said, the unprepared speaker has the right to be afraid. Many of us are afraid of public speaking because we don't prepare enough. So prepare well. Preparation starts with the idea, writing a script, practicing it, and then coming and delivering. If you follow these steps, all of us can easily become good speakers, very good speakers. That's from my side. DTM Srikumar Pai, over to you. Rasul Salam, if there are any questions, we can take them.
Yeah, I think we are already late. So anyway, we will ask 1 or 2 questions.
Yeah.
Okay, anyone is having any questions related to what we discussed today? We'll have just 6 minutes we'll use.
Yeah.
Javelius, do you have any questions? I will unmute 1 minute. I'll give you, Okay, you can unmute now and ask questions.
One by one, yeah.
So
One by
I
one.
have a question.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I have a question.
So
Tell
my
your
name
name.
is Kirtana Prem.
The Raymond.
So my name is Kirtana.
Yeah.
Yeah. Only one at a time, please. One
Yes,
at a
sir.
time.
Kirtan.
Yes, sir. My name is Kirtana Prem and I am from KTI Gavel Club.
Yeah.
So
Okay, Kirtana,
suppose, yes, sir. In a crowd, we have diversifying age of people. Let's say
Yeah.
we have teenagers, we have kids, and we have elders, and we have we have adult citizens also who have crossed the age of 70.
Yeah.
And you have been called to speak on a public platform where apart from these audience, there are also people who are going to take away your message. Then how exactly do you know what do you have to give and how to structure your speech? Because there can be a lot of topics. There can be many ways through which you can convey your message.
I got
which is
you.
right and
Yeah, I got your question. It's right. It's a challenging thing. It's a general problem all of us face. If you have a diversified audience, we should come up with something universal which is applicable to most of us. Be sure about the sensitivity. One is your message, but it's also equally important that we should not offend other people. We should not make other people angry with what you're saying. So be sensitive about what you're saying. The good message is there, but make it, you put yourself, you already know that your audience is from diverse age group, diverse demographics, it could be anything. You put yourself, okay, if I am an African and somebody speaks to me like this, will this be appealing? Will this be applicable? Will this be relevant to him? If I am from Australia, will it be good? If I am having Islamic faith, will I be offended if somebody says this to me? Think about these small things and make sure that your speech is universal? See, topics like love, peace, all those things are universal in nature. Failure, success, these kind of things. All of us, regardless of our age, regardless of our background, ethnic background, demographic background, all of us can relate to these kind of topics. But some topics will be very sensitive, which we should avoid. Some things, the way of saying could be very sensitive. For example, I was helping my son. My son is just graduating next month in medicine, and he was preparing a speech for something, and he was asking me to help him. So I put some words like Yahoo, hooray, and all those things for celebration. He said, Dad, these days nobody uses these. People of my age, they don't use this kind of word. I said, this is what we used to say. Hooray! We should when did this celebrate? These days such words are not used. So I, as a 50, 55-year-old, 56-year-old man, I do not know that terminology, that the word that people, teenagers who commonly use this word. So some words could be understood by certain people.
Yes, sir. Understandable, sir.
Okay,
Yeah.
any other questions?
Thank you,
Sir,
sir.
my name is Ayman.
Yeah, yeah.
Forgiven.
What's your question? Ayman, what's your question?
Be very specific.
So then you just told like if you are delivering 80% from your script which you have prepared,
Yeah.
but then what if the script you prepared was not good and you want to deliver a whole new script in a stage at the moment? So then
No, if you want to improve on that, you can improve and try to deliver it again in your Gravel Club program, in the club meeting or in your system manual. There's no pass or fail. You learn from each and every experience and you move on. But if you personally feel that you didn't do a good job, you want to deliver the speech again, it's up to you. But nobody will tell you you failed and you have to do it all over again. But if your speech was good, but you want to use it elsewhere, try to give a better version of that speech to another place. Nothing wrong.
okay, sir.
Okay, our last question. Last
Sir,
question.
I'm Muhammad
I
bin
have a
Muhyiddin.
question. Sunny. My name
Muhammad.
is Aryan.
I think we
I'm
are,
from Dubai.
time is already over.
So, sir, my
Yeah.
question is how to have
Gautam,
the
can you
right emotion.
wait? I was asking Gautam, you do have any questions? Gautam, you can
Yes,
ask.
sir. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
what's your question?
So my question is that I am currently doing my AC projects and I'm in grade 10. What are all the things which I need to incorporate in my current routine to become the world champion?
You're doing ACB.
How can I start from now?
You're doing ACB now?
Yes, sir.
Which manuals have you chosen?
Professional speaker and speaking to inform.
Very good. Both are very good manuals. Professional speaker. That's a good manual to use if you're aiming to be a world champion. See, honestly, being a champion is good. Competition is good. Contest speaking, speech contest is good. But understand the larger purpose. The purpose of public speaking beyond a point is to make a difference in other people's lives, not to become a public champion because that is not the ultimate goal. The speech has a communication value. So you start delivering good speeches which are authentic, which delivers value to the people. There is a good message through which people can change their lives. You can make an impact on them. Automatically, you will graduate. You will evolve to be a good speaker, and in that process, you can also take part in contests and win. I wish you all the very best. But everything starts at the club level. If you want to become a world champion of public speaking, start at the club level, win at your club level, go to area level, division level, and so on. That's how you become world champion. And in that process, your speech will also evolve. You will get a lot of input from other people at every stage. Start incorporating them, and then gradually improve. But nothing happens overnight.
Okay, I think we have already closed the timing. Thank you very much, Distinguished Toastmaster Surya Narayanan, for your inspiring education session today. And you have covered almost each and every part of public speaking. And I also learned many things today. You see, the structure, telescopic approach, microscopic approach. These are something I also learned. Something new. And also you talked about different model, PPF model, PCR model, KFC model. My God, yeah? It was a very informative speech about public speaking. And I also finally you talked about four mantras, 4P mantras. That's also very useful. So I request everyone to hope enjoy today. You have learned something new about public speaking. So let me thank once again to Distinguished Toast giving inspiring a very beautiful presentation of public speaking. Please give a big round of applause to Distinguished
Thank you,
Toast.
thank you, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and just wait for our next session.
I hope that we started with about 100 people. Now there are 58. I hope everybody learned something, a little new thing today, and I'm glad that I've been able to engage all of you for almost an hour. And I will share the presentation with DTM Kumar. He can share it in all the groups. And I'm always available. My mobile number is available with DTM Kumar. If any of you want any help with the speech, of course, you will have your own mentors and club counselors. But if you want to contact me for anything, I'm always welcome. I'm available and you're most welcome. Thank you.
Just wait for our next session next month. Second, will come with something new, interesting topic. And if you need any particular topic, the best person in that particular field, and we'll come back with that. So please block your date next second Friday of July. Okay. Thank you very much. See you. Bye.
You,
good night and goodbye, everyone.
Thank you, sir. Bye,
Good night, sir.
Good night.
Thank you, sir.
Bye, sir.
Bye, sir. Thank you.
Sir.